Hey, it's Jorge from TeamJVS, giving you a quick exclusive on the movie Lamborghini, the man behind the legend. So this movie is basically in regards to the life and story of Ferruccio Lamborghini. So as you can tell, I am standing beside probably one of the top Lamborghinis right now, which kind of shows you how important this movie is. You know, when you look at the way that this director shot this film and the way that the story was told, it's a very interesting kind of mixture of beauty and anguish and all these struggles that Ferruccio had to deal with growing up and all the sacrifices he had to make. For those of you who know the story, obviously Ferruccio used to be a giant Ferrari lover, as anyone from Italy is. The things that made this a little bit more complicated is he found a fault in one of their cars, or just about all their cars. And when he went and approached Enzo about it, it ended up turning into almost a, how do you say this, a spat where Enzo just kind of brushed him off and basically told him to, you know, stick to building tractors. Because for those of you who don't know, Lamborghini started off building tractors, and yet here we are now. So the story continues and keeps evolving, and the first, you know, kind of half of the movie is a young Ferruccio, you know, coming back from World War II and working at his father's farm, and just kind of seeing him evolve and go through all his trials and tribulations. But the second half of this movie is where really you start seeing the power and all the beauty that this movie actually has to show. One of the things that was so fascinating was kind of seeing how Ferruccio will get all these people to follow him and believe in his crazy dreams. For example, you know, building the car that they did when they unveiled it at the Geneva show, something unheard of to do in 6 months, and he was able to accomplish it. Although this movie doesn't dive into for the car aspect of it, it does highlight it. If you are kind of looking into, as I was when I first saw the movie, I thought of more like a Ford v Ferrari, where you're looking at this action biopic of, you know, one company versus another. This is more of a love story in terms of Ferruccio kind of fighting his inner demons in exploring and finding the company Lamborghini. One of the things that you find so heartbreaking is seeing how Ferruccio actually suffers through all of this and basically going through all the anguish that he does. One thing that I will say, which was so well shown in the movie, is the sacrifices that he made in order to make the company what it is today. I will say the director did take really interesting choices in terms of how this story was brought up. That is something that we'll be exploring here next week, so make sure you stay tuned, because we'll be interviewing not only Frank, who plays Ferruccio Lamborghini, but also the director and writer. We'll be able to interview them and kind of dive a little bit deeper into this story. For me personally, this is a story that resonates very well. I personally, you know, growing up, every kid kind of has like their, you know, Ferrari Testarossa or Lamborghini Countach video, or, you know, poster on their wall, and I was definitely a Lamborghini guy. So this was one that I was really looking forward to, and I think that this movie does it justice. It's not an action-packed movie, but more of a historical biopic of, you know, just the story and the success that Ferruccio had. I will say, you know, giving this movie a quick rating when you kind of start looking at it, I would say, you know, this is the first time I saw it. I think I ranked it like a 7 out of 10, but seeing it the second time with new eyes and kind of understanding the real point of this movie, you know, I will highly give this, you know, an 8.5, almost 9 out of 10. The emotion that this movie draws, the pain that this movie will show you, and even the anguish, because not only does this view Ferruccio's life, but also his son and some of the sacrifices that he's had to make, you know, for his son throughout it. So this is definitely one of those that I would strongly suggest seeing at the theaters. And I will say I got to give a huge thank you to Chris over at the Capital Auto Club. This is his beautiful Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, and you know, this is definitely one of the main reasons why I came out, you know, this far to even do this review instead of the normal habitat, just to show you guys, you know, kind of the beauty and the lengths that Lamborghini has come. You know, it's not often that you have a brand that gets associated with making the most beautiful car in the world, you know, back when the Mirror came out. So it's definitely one of those things where this movie, for people who love the brand, who love just cars, you know, automobiles and the history of them, it will resonate with you guys, and it will definitely touch you guys in different ways. You'll definitely see the success of someone who is going through all the pain and anguish, and basically of any entrepreneur. There's certain sacrifices you have to give, and this movie does show that perfectly. And you know, it's one of those things where I'm happy he made those sacrifices because we're able to have a brand like this. But it definitely does, you know, it sucks for the pioneers, you know, the people who do have to make those sacrifices and choose their company over their family. But no, overall, you know, I will say definitely go check this movie out when it comes out. From my point of view, you know, 2 thumbs up on the whole movie and how it was shot. And most importantly, you know, as always, this is TeamJVS, Jorge from it. Make sure you give a like, subscribe, and in terms of my normal piece, I will end it the Italian way and just say ciao.